You imagine your career is progressing along one line and then a horse comes along and the whole picture seems to change. Luke Morris, my next guest, has always been a man who has worked incredibly hard. He's always ridden a lot of winners, some of whom have been at or near the top level. Remember how well he did on Marsha. That was just before he came on the show last time. But since then, we've enjoyed the story that has been Alpinista, the brilliant ARC winner. It's great to have you back, Luke. Has life changed?
Obviously being associated with a mare as such high quality as Alpinista was extremely special, and you know, I really enjoyed the journey.
And it was a pretty amazing journey. There was so much goodwill towards Sir Mark in particular, but Kirsten Rausing as well, and her breeding programme. How special did it feel to be a part of all that? Were you very cognizant of the history that went with the victory? Yeah,
like for me personally, you know, you dream of those days. I dreamt of wanting to be a jockey since the age of 6 or 7, so to almost reach that pinnacle was hugely satisfying for myself. But to be able to reward Miss Rausing, Sir Mark, who, you know, they'd given me some fantastic opportunities on this wonderful mare, and to be able to deliver them was, you know, extremely special, and I can't thank them enough for giving me those opportunities at such a high level.
I can't help thinking that the one thing we overlooked in the sort of human aspect of the day, and it was such a great story on so many levels, was just how easily you won the ARC, what looked quite a competitive ARC as well.
Yeah, you know, I'd done all my homework. I'd probably watched about 25, 26 ARCs and seen where every winner had come, and after watching all them ARC de Triomphes, there was not one that there was not one horse that had won with such ease, kind of travelling inside of 2. So when I arrived into the fold straight, absolutely tanking, it's kind of in slight disbelief, to be honest.
Did you think something must be wrong here? This is too good to be true.
Obviously, with a 20-runner ARC, you're you know, expecting a bit of a rugby scrum, especially in bad ground. But it all went exactly how we'd planned. Obviously, we'd been through the race with fine-tooth comb and had a plan in place, and it's not very often that it comes off, especially in such a high-profile race.
Yes, I remember thinking Luke Morris is used to riding horses with a stone in hand, but not normally in a level weights Group 1.
No, she's a magnificent filly, and the way she was handled by Sir Mark, William Butler, the whole team at Heath House was incredible. You know, they never missed a beat, and the mare never missed a beat either.
What do you think the secret to it was? What do you think they got absolutely right that might have not gone right in different hands?
I think the patience, really. She only ran 3 times last year. She was due to go to the Coronation Cup, just wasn't quite there, and her coat wasn't quite working as well as she could do. So Sir Mark, obviously with the experience and the confidence, was able to back off her, wait for the race in Saint-Cloud, and it was just a very much mapped out campaign, you know, through her whole career. And from that, I thought she was able to progress into the filly or mare she became.
I mean, clearly Sir Mark's career has been characterised by stickability with jockeys, you know, from George Duffield through Seb Sanders to you. How much difference does that make to your mental approach to a race, knowing that it is pretty unlikely that even if you foul up, you're going to lose the ride?
Yeah, I think it instills a lot of confidence into a jockey when you go out there knowing it's almost your horse, and you know, I ride her and I work at home, so you know the horses very well, and also you know, the support of the owners as well. Miss Rausing's been a huge supporter of Heath House for a long time, so you know, I went into the race, you know, I full well knew it was going to be the biggest ride of my career, but I went into it with a huge amount of confidence that whatever I did, I was doing the right thing. We'd been through the race, and having that confidence in the horse and your connections has got to make a huge bonus.
So what impact has this had on the people around you, on your nearest and dearest? What sort of reaction did you get from the people you really care about?
It was quite overwhelming. Obviously the public affection for Sir Mark and Miss Rausing and everyone was great to see. Miss Rausing's been a huge supporter of racing and for a long time now, and you know, this filly's from obviously the famous AL pedigree line, which I think she's 5th generation, so for her to reach that you know, that pinnacle with Alpinista winning an ARC was massive, and it meant them a lot for obviously everyone in racing, and myself included. But you just hope having big days like this and being able to show you can, you can deliver on the top day will give you a slight springboard, in my career.
Last time we spoke, you were quite proud of the way that you'd navigated your career, and you were pleased that you'd built up so much experience, and that really set yourself out to ride an awful lot of horses from January the 1st to December the 31st. Do you see that approach changing at all?
I'm always extremely hungry, and even, every year I set my stall up to ride 100 winners. I can't see that changing. I think the day that I don't want to go to Windsor on a Monday or Brighton on a Tuesday and ride winners, I think that's the day then, I'm pretty much finished, really. I've got that hunger. I want to ride 100 winners. I was lucky to ride my 2000th winner not so long ago, and now I'd love to ride 3,000 winners.
I mean, you knock out 1,000 rides a year, and you seem to do it without looking exhausted or completely broken at the end of the season, like a lot of your colleagues do. Are you just good at putting the front on, or are you actually a machine?
I certainly wouldn't mention I'm a machine, but I'm extremely lucky in that I don't have any weight issues. I'm able to eat and drink exactly, as I can, and I'm sure that's hugely beneficial. But I think kind of my desire to want to ride winners, want to be successful, helps us, when it gets to a Monday and it's a wet Wolverhampton Monday, a lot of people might turn their nose up, whereas, I want to go there and I want to ride winners.
So you're just happy wherever it is, whoever it's for, within reason.
Yeah, obviously we all want to be there on a big stage. I would have loved to have been at Newbury yesterday riding fancied horses in the Greenham and the Fred Darling. As it turned out, if I'd have gone to Newbury, I'd have probably had a few outside chances, bigger price horses. I was more than happy to go to Brighton for 2 or 3 favourites and have a chance of riding winners. I think the hunger that, you want to ride winners, is while that's always there, that's where I'd rather be.
Where do you think that mentality comes from? What do you think sowed that in you? Because you are rare relative to your peers in the way you approach the game.
Yeah, I think from a young age, like from 6 or 7, I was probably quite obsessed with wanting to be a jockey, and from then I knew it was going to be a 10-year wait till I could be on a racecourse. So that's always been in me. Whether I was at school running cross country or playing football, I've always wanted to be as good as I could be, and I've worked extremely hard to try to maintain and try to be as good as I can be.
How do you think this season is going to progress? Do you think you're going to get better rides? Are you going to be riding better horses? Has the effect of Alpinista already been felt? I
think it's probably a bit premature to judge at the moment whether winning. Obviously, the Arc and the Group 1s that Alpinista provided me has evolved, but you hope it can only do positive things for your career. And like I say, Sir Mark's been a massive supporter. Archie Watson's a huge supporter of mine as well. I've ridden lots of wins for him every year, and you just hope another few might jump on board along the way. But like I say, I'm very pleased with the hand I've been dealt, and I just want to keep those people happy.
Last time you were on the show, we talked a bit about the whip, and that was before we got into the interminable consultation period about the changes to the rules, and you kept being held up as an example of someone who might struggle with the new regulations. Have you struggled?
At the moment, I've had absolutely no suspensions, and in the first week of the bedding-in period, I had three separate incidents that were referred, and I worked extremely hard behind the scenes at home. I've got a gym and an equitiser, and I've worked extremely hard to try and make sure that I've adapted to the new rules, and since then I've had absolutely no cases, no suspensions, and like I say, it's just the rules have changed, and you've got to work hard to adapt to it.
You have a very no-nonsense approach in that respect. I mean, you were quite outspoken at one point last year when you said, look, you go to a different country, you've got to be able to count. If it's 5, you count to 5. If it's 6, you count to 6. If it's 7, you count to 7. Do you actually think it's pretty straightforward?
I think obviously the numbers is very straightforward. The technical side does take a bit of getting used to because they have changed quite a lot in terms of the time to respond, and other matters. So that is not simple at all when you've ridden the same way for, as some people, 20, 30 years. It's not easy to adapt, but the numbers, I think the numbers are fairly straightforward. And
is this an example? I mean, this is what I was trying to get at before, of not allowing yourself to get het up by what's going on around the sport, and the fact that you're just concentrating on what's in front of you. Does that help you in that respect? Yeah,
I think trying to obviously not take in the outside noise and just channel yourself into your own ball game certainly helps. And like I said, there is a lot of outside noise at the moment, but you're just trying to do the best you can. Keep a nice bit of perspective. Exactly.
And do you find that your own family life gives you that perspective as well?
Yeah, obviously, I've now got a 1-year-old son, and that it certainly changed your perspective on life. And when you may have had a day that hasn't gone particularly well, you come home and it's all rosy in the garden. So that certainly changed in my life, but it certainly helps, and I'm really enjoying it.
How's he getting on?
He's fully mobile now. He's 16 months, and he's keeping me and my partner Molly on our toes.
Don't say it's easy. You're not going to say that's easy as well, are you? I can cope with the 5,000 rides in 5 years as easy. I can cope with winning the Arc was straightforward. I can cope with you adjusting your whip action. Telling me that looking after a 16-month-old toddler is easy, and then I'm afraid then I'm going to have to actually start testing to see if there's a pulse there.
No, he's not easy, especially
Good,
now
excellent.
He's mobile.
He is real.
Yeah,
he is real, ladies and gents. But you're all doing well.
All going well, and now he's mobile. He's chasing ponies, chasing chickens and ducks around the garden. So he's manic.
Are you so have you got thoroughbreds at home as well?
I have a couple of mares. Alpinista enabled me to buy a slightly nicer mare in December. So I'm probably a bit boring. I don't have too many hobbies outside of racing. I'm quite engulfed in the sport, and I've always wanted to buy a nice mare. I enjoy bloodstock. I enjoy studying pedigrees. So winning the Arc enabled me to buy myself quite a nice mare, and she's got a lovely foal on the ground, and she's back in foal. So fingers crossed she can, all that can wipe its face, because what I've learned is it's an expensive process. Yeah, I was just going to say, you're very careful guy. You made a few quid. How do you nurture this money? You go and buy a broodmare. Yeah, with the help of a really good guy called Joseph Burke. We spent 5 or 6 days walking around December sales with a long list, and never managed to get near anything at all. But he picked up a lovely mare in Arcana, in foal to see the moon. So we've got the filly on the ground. She's gorgeous foal.
And you've got her at home?
She's at the stud at the moment, so she went off a month before, and she'll stay a month after, and then she'll be back home next Sunday. So it's exciting, and I enjoy the bloodstock side of it. It kind of gives me a thrill, and just hoping it can wipe its face.
So who's she been covered by?
She's in foal now to Study of Man.
Excellent. Staying loyal to Miss Rausing, obviously.
Exactly, and he's a son of Deep Impact, a very good French Derby winner. So we've seen what the Deep Impact lines produce through Saxon Warrior. So I'm excited to see what comes of that. And I'm pretty sure when I interviewed Miss Rausing on my podcast a few months ago, she said, yeah, it'll be Dubawi this year and Study of Man next year for Alpinista. Yeah, she's in foal now to Dubawi. So if Study of Man's good enough for Alpinista, it's certainly good enough for my mare Clara Luna. I mean, it's like the best advert in the world, isn't it, for the stallion? I'm just going to allow him my Arc winner. That's faith. Exactly. Obviously, Miss Rausing's got a huge amount of confidence in Study of Man, and we've got a few of them at Sir Mark's, and all the signals are right at the moment. Are
Are there better horses at Heath House this year?
We're lacking certainly lacking an Alpinista going forward.
But just in terms of the kind of mean level of ability?
We've got a really nice stock of kind of progressive horses that you're hoping will make that jump up to either very good handicapper stroke black type horses. But our general stock of 2-year-olds, if you look at them on face value on paper, that they look a really good bunch. As always, Miss Rausing sent a very good draft. Got other loyal supporters, Cheveley Park, Deptford Stud, as well as a few new faces. The King and Queen Consort have sent a couple. Gorgeous Frankel off Al-Wazmir Stud, and plenty of other new faces in there as well. So you certainly hope that amongst that crop there's going to be a good one in there. Whether there's an Alpinista, we'll see. But they look a really good bunch on paper.
Yeah, I think that'll hearten everyone. For the moment, Luke, thanks so much. I know you're going to stay with us. Rafe and Cornelius rejoin us to close out the show in a few moments.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.